Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, and today I'm joined with
Nerdarchy Dave.
And today we're going to bring you the best and worst feats of 5e. Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips as well as learn how to game with us.
Once again, this video is brought to you by our ugly Christmas sweater, which you can see here, and you find in the description below a link to it. What do you say there, Ted? What is your worst pick for
worst feat in 5e?
Yes,
Weapon Master.
If you're going to throw it out, that one.
Okay, yes, it does give you a bump to one of your strength or dex, but it's like, come on, like if you're going to choose to play a character that wants to wield a weapon, you're going to probably play something that's going to get proficiency with it. Like, getting proficiencies are so easy. So unless you're like, all right, I want to play a blade singer type character that's a mage, I want to fight with a longsword, but I want to be human. So I'm going to take the human variant to take training with longsword so that I can use magic and fight with a longsword. It's just too much work.
Right, you get like 3 proficiencies and you get 1 stat bump, right?
You get 4 weapons.
Or 4 weapons, yeah. Why not just give like martial weapons, instead? Or they're like you said, like if you wanted to do that, you're so better off by just taking a dip in, I don't know, any warrior class, because okay, you don't get the stat bump. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be behind on 1 level, but you're gonna get a whole suite of abilities in addition to martial combat training.
Yes.
So yeah, that would have actually been my pick as well for the worst. So since you stole my worst, I'm gonna throw this out there. Durable.
That's the one that you get better hit dice when you're resting.
Durable increases your con by 1 to a maximum of 20. All right, it's not bad. Uh-huh. I mean, you could have did that if you just looked stat them, but increased it by 2. But yeah, hey. And during a short rest, when you roll a hit die to regain hit points, the minimum number of hit points you regain from that roll equals twice your Constitution modifier, minimum of 2.
So if you
it's not even maximum. It's not even like every time you roll a hit die you get maximum.
So
back.
if you have a high Constitution and you're spinning hit dice like crazy, yeah, that can be really, really valuable. All right, because it doesn't actually say. Does it actually say that the minimum is the most of the die?
No, a minimum of 2. So it's saying like, so say you have 0 con modifier.
Mm-hmm. All right. Here's the question. I have an 18 Constitution.
Yes.
I'm a wizard. Do I get 6 or do I get 8? Because it says you get twice your modifier.
I would rule you get 8.
Because that's what it says. The minimum is twice your con. So you enter into some wonky situations with this. I've known like one character to take durable, and I think it was by accident. I think they thought something else when they were reading it. It's not super useful unless you are constantly taking short rests and spending hit dice.
Yeah, I would throw this one away. I would throw this one away. It's pretty useless. Oh, and the other thing, though, there is one other thing I want to bring up about Weapon Master. Off the top of my head, I don't think there's any other, but 2 races out of the PHB actually give you just as many weapon proficiencies, if not more.
Elves and dwarves.
Elves and dwarves than that feat.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
But they don't get the pluses. The dwarf gets pluses the strength, but
elves get a plus the dex. Yeah, so you're kind of covered. So those are 2 that we'd probably throw away, change. I've seen other GMs, do something with them. I think I've seen durable and toughness put together.
Yes, it was in the Reforging 5th edition.
Yes. Now I actually think toughness is still a good feat because getting 2 extra hit points a level, that's like 4 points to a stat.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
I think mixing it with tough makes tough too good, but
yes,
I would need to rework this one somehow.
What's your best pick, Ted?
My best is Observant. There is just so much going on with this one. It's kind of crazy. All right, you get a +1 to Wisdom or Intelligence to a max of 20, as they all do. If you can see a creature's mouth and you understand its language, you can read its lips. Nope. No distance required. Just if you can see it, you can read it. Totally crazy. And then, on top of that, you have a +5 bonus to passive perception and passive investigate. This is the only place that they mention a passive investigation in the entire book.
If you're not using optional rules, passive investigate doesn't even exist.
Right. I've had a couple characters take this for different reasons. I took it as a character who was literally called Eyes because his perception was that good. He was a background of a sailor. He was the guy that was in the crow's nest all the time. And by the time the character retired, he had a passive perception of 30.
Yeah, at a certain point, you're just seeing into other realms.
So it's like, yeah, he knows what's going on. Like the DM, she was like, well, I can't throw traps at you guys. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. She's like, I'm not even gonna prep them. They're just out. Ted's too crazy. And then the other character took it for the investigate and the ability to read lips. I was like, well, I'm gonna get a bump to a mental. Totally good for him. And well, he's got the ability to observe what's going on and be able to notice more clues and things when he's out dungeoning. I'm like, fantastic. So I think there's so much wrapped up in that feat that
it does get a little crazy where you're like, yeah, I choose to never consciously make those checks because you actually become better at your passive becomes better than if you roll.
Yeah. Because I mean, you're starting off at a 15 on the die roll. Like you've only got a chance to get a little bit better.
Yeah, and a lot of chance to get worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, that does get really crazy. Observant is a good one. Now, one of my favorites, I'm going to go with this one. It's not so much that it's the best. Mm-hmm. I just like the dynamic that it adds
the versatility of it.
That adds to the game, yes.
Where are you going?
I'm going Magic Initiate.
Magic Initiate is a fantastic feat as well.
There's a couple reasons. One, if you want to play a Gish, but you only want to splash a little bit of magic on your character, this is definitely one you can use. And you can actually use it to later build on top of.
Yes.
So, like, if you take Magic Initiate and take offensive capabilities with it, you can then take Spell Sniper later on, which then gives you just a little bit more magic and makes you better at using what you're doing.
Yes.
Nothing tremendous, but... And then if you also add those two things to, say, Erase, that gives you...
Access to some magic,
would also give you a bit more. For instance, Magic Initiate, Spell Sniper, play a Deep Gnome, and take the Deep Gnome magic feat. By the time you have all three of those feats, you've got a ton of magic for a character that's not a spellcaster in any shape, form, or way.
And same thing with Tiefling, because they get some spells layered in there as well.
Tiefling, Drow, High Elf.
Well, High Elf just gets a cantrip.
But it's still some things. Now the other thing I like is the idea of playing a human and taking Magic Initiate at first level and being like you're going with a warrior class that you later intend to multi-class into a spellcaster. So right from the very beginning, you get to play a magic character without actually taking any magic yet. So it kind of sets it up. There's another place where Magic Initiate is super useful, and that's if you're playing a spellcaster with limited spellcasting. Warlock, an extra spell a day, even if it's at the lower level, is still useful. It's still useful, and then it also adds another spell to your spells known. Sorcerer, same deal. Yep. Even more so with the sorcerer and the wizard is, and the bard. Like another spell in your spell book, another spell known for either the bard or the sorcerer. Tremendously useful. I don't remember if exactly would go in your spell book for wizard or not, but it's still just another cast.
Technically, the way Magic Initiate works is that becomes isolated from everything else. I even think it might have been clarified on the Watts that it's like...
Except for not with Sorcerer and Bard. With those, the spell goes to your spell list. It becomes a spell known.
Okay.
You still only have one first level casting, but it adds to your spells known.
Because I was under the impression that it becomes isolated. You can't sack that slot for sorcery points, and you can't cast that spell with any of your other things. And I could be wrong, but that's what I thought it was clarified as. Now I would actually like it if it's like, okay, you have a first level spell slot. Add it to your first level spell slots. You have this spell known, and intermingle as you will. I think that would be amazing.
It does work for the spell known, but it still is only a first level spell slot that casts that spell specifically, unless something else came out. Then
adding more into your Gish type build, you could also throw Ritualist in there as well.
Yes.
And that's something that I had done with your game. I took a human cleric, and I gave him Magic Initiate at first level. I gave him Ritualist at 4th. So he's building this whole spellcastery, I'm a wizard kind of sort of in the background.
Yeah, so it's not like an uber powerful feat. It's just a fun one to splash something different into your character.
And it's incredibly versatile because it does allow you to choose any of the core casting classes.
Or, even another way that it's kind of fun too is if you're planning on taking a class that has a spell casting options, like Eldritch Knight or the Arcane Trickster.
Right.
It works best with human, in my opinion, because right at first level,
you can get it right away.
When your character starts off, you can do it right away, and you're like, it's kind of like, oh, you didn't come up with the spell casting out of nowheres. You've always had a little bit of it in you. What do you guys think? In the comments below, why don't you give us your best and worst feats from 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons while you're at it? Like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on Nerdarchy.com.
So until next time, stay nerdy.
Sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips as well as learn how to game with us.
Once again, this video is brought to you by our ugly Christmas sweater, which you can see here, and you find in the description below a link to it. What do you see?
A bump to one of your strength decks, but it's like, come on, like if you're gonna choose to play a character that wants to wield a weapon, you're gonna probably play something that's gonna get proficiency with it. Like, getting proficiencies are so easy. So unless you're like, all right, I want to play a Bladesinger type character that's a mage, I want to fight with a longsword, but I want to be human. So, hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Ted, and today I'm joined with
Nerdarchy Dave.
And today we're going to bring you the best and worst feats of 5e. Jump down the description below where you can
say there, Ted. What is your worst pick for
worst feat in 5e?
Yes,
Weapon Master.
If you're going to throw it out, that one.
Okay, yes, it does give you